Who am I? What is my main job? And why did I become an artist? So who I am is Val. I go by Artist MD in the creative world. I have, I think, two main jobs. One is being a doctor. So I was trained in family medicine, but now I work as a hospitalist. So I'm a hospital doctor, and I work at that part-time so that I can do my other job, which is being a dad and a husband. I'm part-time doctor, part-time stay-at-home dad, and then part-time artist.
I first realized Val had a gift for writing poetry after our third son was born. He wrote me a poem, really sweet, simple, but it expressed his heart in words in a way that I knew there was something there. There was something more there.
Honestly, just started hearing this voice on the inside. I felt like God was speaking to me, and I heard the word artist. Like he was talking to me like it was my name. And I was kind of shocked by it and shook it off because I thought, how can I be an artist? I'm a doctor. I've never done anything creative. But pretty quickly, this sequence of events happened where these lyrics just started coming out. So that's how I got Artist MD. Artist was like the name he was calling me, and then MD was my credentials that I already had. I think before the Moonshine album was the History Project EP, which was really magical. And in that early kind of surrendering, God led me to this United Pursuit School of Worship where I got put with a band of musicians that I'd never been with, and we created this whole EP in 3 days. After that whole process, I kind of didn't know if I'd write anything else. I was like, this is magical. I got with these creatives that are amazing, and we made all this amazing music and poetry, and I was so proud of what God created in that. But then after that, soon after, I just kept getting all these words and writing, and the whole Moonshine album was pretty much written in a year.
Oh, this one was really fun for me because Val just read the words, and I got to really just compose 12 pieces of music to support what he was saying.
When we recorded, it was a lot of fun. Athens is a great place known for music and food, so we ate really well, and Andrew does an amazing job of piecing together the music, and so being in his house, being in his area was cool.
This process was a lot different than a lot of other ones because when you're working with artists, they usually play stuff too, but this one I felt like I could really just create music.
I wasn't trying to write an album, I just was writing what was coming. And I think as I look back, I was really just processing a lot of my pain and my story and kind of getting caught up to current. But it often comes in chunks or a flow that I put into a voice memo, and then the work of it is just kind of sitting down, writing it all out, and seeing, and then kind of getting it to a finished product.
To me, it's about capturing the energy and capturing what he's saying and making music that supports that message. So we listen to the poem first, and then we kind of react instinctively to what he's saying to make the right kind of music.
Having a visual to go along with the audio helps the audience really connect to it. So he spent the week here in Athens, and I took a couple days to document everything that he was doing, take pictures, take some B-roll. He actually flew me out to Tulsa, and I spent 2 separate weeks there last year. We didn't just film one video per song. We actually did a music video and a behind-the-scenes video for every single song on this album.
The behind-the-scenes idea for the whole album, having a behind-the-scenes for each one, I don't remember whose idea that was, but I just love that concept of kind of letting people into what's the meaning behind and what happens behind.
The experience being behind while he's working on Moonshine, some of it was hearing the poetry expressing his heart, hearing, every rough draft, watching every video with him, giving him feedback sometimes, kind of just being like the guy in the chair at home.
We decided that the bi-weekly or every other week releasing a song, releasing a video, doing a behind-the-scenes type of thing. All those things were things that Val invited me into.
My favorite track on the album, I would say, is Born on Halloween. I really feel like it hit me emotionally and I could relate to it the most. out of all of the tracks. I like the comparison in youth and growing throughout life and reflecting on your past. And for me, that was like what hit home, and that was my favorite one for sure.
My favorite poem on the Moonshine album is by far Drawn and Quartered. I think the first time I heard it, it expressed Val's story. Like, I saw Val in it and loved it. And then the time when it was released and I heard it, it expressed my story to me. So it's incredibly personal to him and to me.
Drawn and Quartered was so Italian. That's definitely, I think that was my favorite one we recorded, just figuring out the ins and outs of that. But every song has a unique sound. Every poem, all the music, the lyric, how it all fits together so well. You know, Val's really reshaping this genre, which is really cool, or starting this genre of spoken word poetry and music and coming together. So it's really encouraging and cool.
I'd say my favorite poem on the Moonshine album has to be the song Moonshine. Not just the music video itself, but the lyrics and the idea behind the song. That's just such a cool thought, to have us reflecting God's glory and God's love off onto other people around us.
Every single jaggedy imperfection.
Jekyll and Hyde is probably one of my favorites. I just felt like the music and the message like fit really well together, and I'm proud of that little drum groove and like the piano. I just think it's a really pretty song. So.
I've been surprised at how many responses I've had from people, either in comments on YouTube, or a lot of people just email me on the website, which has been really encouraging.
I've seen God work through Val's poems and music in incredible ways. I think most specifically, I would say, like, I've seen God touch hearts in a way that frees people to feel what they feel. And I've seen, I haven't seen, but I've heard people talking to him and cry and say, I felt that too, and be free to name things in their own lives that no one had ever given them words to express before.
It's been so cool to see Val's word unlock people's heart and give new articulation to what they think, how they feel. And that is so important, that if we can't do it ourselves, it's a blessing to know that we have somebody that can express it for us.
Any artist who has a belief and like just really goes for it should be really proud in my book, because there's so many doubts and there's so many, honestly, reasons why you just maybe shouldn't do it. But I don't know, few people I think like really go for it in that way and really believe and like do what's necessary to make it happen. And Val really has done that.
To see him become, A&D, artist MD, and see him align himself with artists is really cool. And to see the fruit, the increase, is really cool. I'm just proud of how he has walked through this at his age, what his identity could be, being a doctor, and for him to walk out this new path, this new way God's calling him to, just shows how alive our God is.
I'm most proud of Val through his journey as artist MD. I'm proud of him for saying the truth. He has a creative gift. He can make whatever he wanted to make, and he's choosing to humble himself, show his true self to anyone who watches, and to do that is like one of the bravest, gutsiest things you could do. So I'm proud of him for that.
I will say, as a creative, it's incredibly hard to put yourself out there and really show what you're feeling and being authentic and organic. I think the message that he wanted to translate was translated, and just happy to be a part of it.
Most people are just really scared and don't want to share things that they're ashamed of, and I'm just so proud that Val took all of that and put it out into the world where people can relate to it. And every song in the Moonshine album is exactly his life. He's not exaggerating, he's not making any of it up. It's literally his life.
This is a real person's life, and these are not just stories that someone creatively thought of. He shared his soul, he shared his story, he shared his heart, and every poem has this real person behind every single one, and he's the real deal.
So here's what I'd like to say to the creative people that worked with me. Just thank you. Like, I could never have done this without you. There's so much that goes into all the things that we've created, and I could never have done it alone. Even Katie, my kids, like, without their support and without them being like, you need to go for this, and encouraging me and pushing me, it wouldn't have happened. To every person that helped me creatively, even Chimera and the places that offered me a place to do the poetry. I wouldn't even have a place to do the poems if people didn't help me with that. So just a huge thank you, and I appreciate you. That's what I want you to know. I appreciate you, I don't take you for granted. And you've really been God's gift to me to bring this about. To the GoFundMe supporters, I just really appreciate you believing in me and believing in what God was trying to do through this project. And every single success story or every person that's been touched by any of these poems is attributed to your giving.
So to Val, thank you so much, man. Thank you for letting me in and being a part of so much of the Moonshine album. I can't thank you enough for, one, wanting me to be a part of it when you were here in Athens, but two, flying me out to Oklahoma and really just letting me in on your life. And I'm just so thankful that we're friends, and I know this is gonna be a lifelong friendship, and just thank you so much for everything, and can't wait to do some more down the road.
I would like to say to Val, thank you for reaching out to me and allowing me to create with you. It was definitely a lot of fun. Problem solving and coming together to collaborate to create these visuals is awesome. And I think we did it, so good job, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing what other stuff you come up with, and looking forward to working with you again, man.
Val, I want to say to you, man, I'm so proud of you. I love you. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being honest and vulnerable with us. Thank you for sharing your heart with us. Thank you for sharing your testimony of what God's done in your life with us. And I know the best is yet to come with you, man, as you continue to walk out and step out in faith into what God has you do, man. I know that there's more greatness to come. So thank you, bro. I'm proud of you. This album is awesome. Keep going strong.
Val, you did it. You took the risk. You stepped out there. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so glad that you didn't hold back or think that the time had passed you and that you shouldn't take this step. So I'm really proud of you for taking the risk.
I think overall I just want people to know that I'm not a professional artist. Like I'm very proud of what I've created, and whether you believe it or not, I've only been doing it for 2 years. And I'm amazed at what God has done in that time. So I think twofold. I want you to know that I'm creating out of a place of response to God and what He's doing in me, and then offering that to the world. Two, I just want to encourage people to really listen to Jesus and trust Him with what they're hearing. So I think I would just encourage, like, whatever your gift is, whatever it is that God put in you, to know it, to know yourself with Him, and then to have courage to give it to the world, because the world needs it. The world needs people who are alive, who are listening to Him, who know Him, who are assured of His love, and then are like running after who He made them to be, running after their passion, running after their calling, and unafraid, offering their gifts to the world.
So good, man.
Yeah, dude.